Hello and welcome to Pasión de las Pasiones, de las Pasiones. My name is Lowell, and pronouns he, him. And this is a game by Brandon Leon Gambetta. It is currently available in an ashcan version. And there's a sort of a quick start version that was on the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is still in process. This is a game of Latino telenovela romance and melodrama, and I'll come to what that means in a second. This is part of the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend, something we're trying to do quarterly. We've got our Gauntlet Con coming up in October, which is a larger thing that we do with guests and panels and so on. But we've been trying to do this to show off games for people and to maybe orient some people who haven't played online into online play. We are going to be doing character creation here for this first part if you're watching this. So there's that little bit that we're going to be doing. Some people don't like watching character creation. You can skip forward. I'll try in the show notes to list what time that goes to. This is a PbtA game, which I know all three players here are familiar with. It's a little bit different, and I'll go through how it differs from your standard PbtA in a little bit here. I would like to just do a quick once around to get everyone to introduce themselves. Just say who you are and maybe what you're playing, anything you want to say about that. And David, I played with you before, so I'm going to start with you here.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is David. I've played a fair amount of PbtA before this game. Never played this one in particular, though. But I do love melodrama, so I'm looking forward to really leaning into this one.
Excellent. Ray?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ray, and yeah, I've played a fair amount of PbtA as well, and looking forward to trying the game.
Okay. And Callum?
Hello, I am Callum from the Rollis podcast. I've played a few PbtA, but I'm still on the fence regarding them. To be honest, they are excellent for sure, but are they my thing? I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay.
But, I've never seen telenovelas per se, but I hope to tap into childhood memories of my mother watching The Young and the Restless today.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things to keep in mind is we are tapping into the deep vein of melodrama rather than any necessarily specific knowledge of telenovelas. I will say most of my knowledge of this kind of melodrama is actually from watching K-dramas rather than watching Latino telenovelas, but a lot of the tropes still apply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what we call CATs, which is our sort of setup to quickly go over what the game is going to be like, ideas about aim, tone, and all of that. And then I'm going to talk about safety. So the concept is that we are playing a Latino telenovela, a melodrama. We are characters in the melodrama, but we're not aware of that. And the assumption is that this is a series that has been going on for many episodes, like 70 episodes. It's going on for multiple seasons. So when we come in for our show today, there's a lot of rich backstory that we'll make up. So you can make up characters, you can refer to events that haven't occurred. All of that is on the table for us here. This is a show called La Rosa Querida, and it has been going on for long enough that they're trying up new things. So we may have dramatic incidents that shift the nature of the show. Characters have come and gone. This takes place in a seaside resort hotel, beautiful old place. We've got beaches down below. We've got pools up by the hotel. We've got grand ballrooms, room service, all of that. Down the road, there's a dusty, disreputable bar that people can go to talk in if they want to make plans. And of course, there's a dangerously high cliff with no safety rail on it that's nearby the hotel as well. And the idea of this particular show is that there's all these dramas that go on in the hotel. You can decide that your characters own or work or control, or however you want to set yourselves up with this hotel. We've got a few NPCs that we'll talk about that are kind of on the table already that people can bounce off of. The aim of this is that we're going to set up these dramatic tensions, these objectives that we have, and essentially we're just going to let the characters bounce off one another and see what comes from the play of that. The tone definitely is melodrama, which is heightened emotions, romance, passion, all of those things. The moves in this game really play into that. That being said, it's not silly. It's not parody. We are trying to treat the source material respectfully, trying to appreciate what it is and enjoy what it brings to people. One of the things with that, of course, this is a Latino setting here, and you may notice I'm super white. I'm going to try to treat it as respectfully as possible. One of the things is I ask that people try to avoid accents. Voices are fine, but don't lean into accents. This is something I say in this and Hearts of Wulin as well, that we aim for that. Yes.
Do you mind if I do a French accent?
No, I think you're more than welcome to that. It seems rather authentic on your part there. Subject matter, romance, betrayal, violence, passions, crimes, all of those things are brought to the table. Now, with all of that in play, we have some safety tools that we're going to be using. We use a set of layered safety tools to help people out while we play. The first of these is in our character keeper. You'll see that we have a tab called Lines and Veils. Lines and Veils is an easy way for us to establish things that, with a line, we don't want to see at the table. These are things we don't want to have as a topic or subject matter or anything like that. And so feel free to, as you're doing character creation, to go into there and mark things. We also then have veils. Veils are anything that, should it appear on screen, then we're going to fade to black quickly. Some people have described this as the Buffy thing, where when they close to an embrace, we always fade to black on that. We never see anything more on that. And this is a good way for us to establish some basic benchmarks for our play. So feel free to do that. This is a dynamic document. If we were playing multiple sessions, you'd be able to add to it as you wished. Even during the game, you're welcome to add to the lines and veils. I'll try and keep an eye on that. There is space there. If there's anything that we haven't listed on our list of items, you can add that into the mix there. The second tool that we have that supports that is the X card. Are all of you familiar with the X card as a tool? Okay, all right. So on online play, it's a little more challenging sometimes. Usually people will say, I'm going to X card that, or you can do the gesture if you want to do it that way. When you X card something, we don't ask you to justify it. We might ask just to get a sense of where we need to cut. We roll back to where we need to go and we move forward on that. The X card is available for anything that you find problematic, objectionable. It triggers a phobia. I've had that at the table before, or things that you feel are wildly off tone in the game. Those are things that you can mark with the X card. Also should say, if something occurs a couple of times, but then it gets to you, like it bugs you, it is legit to X card something that you've let pass before. That's all available and on the table. The last thing we have is essentially the open door policy, which means that if you need to step away for whatever reason, you can do that. Turn your camera off. You can give us a note if you have a sense of when you might be back. You can say that, but that is legit for whatever reason that you want to do that. We will be taking a break at about the midpoint, but I just want to say that this would be more perhaps important in, let's say, a Monster Hearts or a horror game and things like that, where someone might hit points of tension there. Those are the basics. I talk fast sometimes, and I have a Hoosier accent, which means that if you cannot understand what I've said or I've talked too fast, please stop me, ask me to repeat myself. I will not be offended if you have to do that, because I know what I sound like. So with that in mind, we're going to look at the character keeper, and we're going to choose our playbooks. You may have noticed that on the characters tab, I have all 6 of the playbooks there available with the basics on them. We're going to find out what people want, and then you're going to look at those, figure out your name, establish your pronouns for your character, and you'll be picking moves. Those moves for each playbook are on the Playbook Moves tab. Some of them have a set move, and some of them have you pick 2, but you can kind of see and you can copy and paste those moves over when you choose things. So Ray, you were the first one to arrive. So do you have any sense of what you would like to play? Do you have a playbook that calls out to you here?
Yeah, LaDonya looked pretty fun.
Okay, all right. David, do you know what you would like to play?
At this point, I've got maybe 3 that I
Okay.
would be okay with, so maybe we can see what Callum would like to do. And
Well,
we can
let's
play
hear
off of that,
what your 3 are.
My goodness, I'm thinking, I mean, really, there's like 4: the beauty, the boss, the employee, the gentleman. I could see myself doing any of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Callum?
I either el jefe or the employee or la empleada. I think I go. Is there an overlap between the Donna El Refe in terms of bringing stuff to the game, or are they fine in combination?
They are fine in combination because usually they're at odds with one another. So that they work on that, and they have very different playbook moves.
Okay, cool. I think I'll go for El Jefe.
Okay. All right. And with a LaDonna and a Jefe in play in the mix, David, what would you like to do?
If we have a matriarch and a boss potentially at odds, perhaps I could be. I feel like it wouldn't be a telenovela without a beauty in it, so perhaps I could be the beauty caught in the middle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the columns on the playbooks that we haven't chosen. What we're going to have you do is go through name, choose your playbook moves. If your playbook moves are already in the column, there are probably some choices that you'll have to make. For LaDonna, you don't have to choose your scheme at the start from the playbook move that's already in the sheet. You can pick that on the fly to respond to the situation. Once we're done with that, then we'll do introductions and our relationship questions.
My bonds seem very easy to pick.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk briefly about the mechanics of this and some of the playbook stuff. Each of you has a question. It's just below where you might put in your picture the Beliza, are you center attention? LaDonna, are you keeping your hands clean? And the El Jefe, are you taking control of the situation? For every standard move, you're going to ask that question plus 2 questions specific to the move. And for each yes answer, you're going to add +1 to your roll. So if you've got 3 yeses, you're going to be rolling with a +3. And that means that when we do a move, we actually kind of stop and kind of analyze where you are in the sort of fictional position of that. We have a couple of moves that are about manipulating people. In fact, that's most of what we have here. We have you demanding what you deserve. That's when you want to get something from someone. We have you expressing your love passionately, kind of forcing people to say whether they love you or not. We, of course, have classic mislead, distract, or trick. And then there's another one that is accuse someone of lying. The accuse someone of lying move has an interesting result in that if you succeed well enough, it can be true, regardless of what we've seen on screen already. And we'll show then what actually happened. The two physical moves for the game, Act of Desperation is kind of the catch-all if you need to do something under pressure move. And then Strike Out at someone is the sort of the face down, trying to hurt someone, and that can be physically, it can be emotionally, it can be calling them out on the table in front of other people. It's a move that can cause harm to you, but will also cause harm to the person that you're targeting. And then the informational move, if you're like uncertain about something, the informational move is spot something out of place. And it's usually, when you're interacting with someone or you're looking into someone's, room or something like that. It's about your knowledge of them. Those are the basic moves. That's supplemented by some oddball moves, which are really good. One of the moves is process your feelings out loud. That's the point at which your character is uncertain what to do. And we cut to you with your arms folded, looking out the window as rain falls on it, and you're talking about what you want. And that's a move where we check in with the other players to see how they feel about what you're doing. Now, we also have a couple of moves that can change things up. On the other moves tab, we have Flashback to Preparations. Flashback to Preparations is something where you say, well, I actually, I had a gun hidden in this, or I had somebody that I pulled out and have ready for this. The results on Flashback to Preparations allow you to fabricate evidence, arrange for people to be in the right place at the right time, or stow away something hidden. So that's a classic one if you want to kind of change up the dynamic of the scene. And then there's Reveal a Shocking Truth. This is where you get to say something about another PC. You actually mark one of your conditions and then roll with the conditions marked. And you've got some choices about you have unequivocal evidence that it's true. It gives you claim to something else, or you introduce a shocking new character. That is the effect that one has. And then the last one I should mention is Face Certain Death. If you get pushed off a cliff, or if the gun shot goes off, you may have to roll to face certain death, and you actually roll that with the number of conditions that you already have marked. And then there's some results here. Depending on your role, you might get to choose what happens to you, or the other players might have a voice in what occurs to you. You have 4 conditions. You'll notice that each of them gives you a +1 to one move and a -2 to another move. Those stack. So, for example, if LaDonna is both zealous and preoccupied, that is potentially a -4 added on to things. When you fill in all 4 of those conditions, you will have a meltdown. And at the bottom of your character's column, there is a thing that says what the meltdown does. Essentially, it's the big scene. You get to change things up, and then you reset your conditions. All right, I'm going to give you a few more minutes for name, figure out what you want to have as moves and copy those over, and then we'll get rolling to intros.
Really love our cast.
All right, we're going to go through and have characters introduce themselves, give us a sense of who they are. I'll ask them some questions about who they might be. I'm going to go in character keeper order, which is going to put, David, do you know what you want as the name for your beauty?
For first name, I was thinking Veronica.
Veronica?
But, yes, but last name, that might be contingent on whether I want to be the daughter of either of you two.
Okay.
I don't know. Perhaps we can figure that out or talk about that. But Veronica is going to be first name at least.
So tell us about this beauty, how you're picturing she, her, I'm assuming the pronouns?
That is correct.
Tell us about her and what moves that you've taken.
The moves that I've taken for her are Up Boy, which basically means that if I remain aloof while trying to agitate or rile someone up, I get the bonus. Let's see here. It says if I can add the question, are you physically touching them, to express my love passionately. So it might understand that that's basically giving them mixed signals.
I think so. I think it's when you're reaching out there to touch them, using that to give yourself an extra advantage when you are trying to manipulate them with that, expressing your love passionately.
Okay.
One of the things about that move is that move kind of forces the person to say how they actually feel.
Is that move somewhat akin to the turn someone on move from Monster Hearts?
A little bit different in that it isn't necessarily forcing like action, but it's really forcing a choice, a revelation about how they actually feel.
Got it.
And what did you take for your other move?
The other move is called Hards to Pin Down, and what this means is that if someone attempts to express their love to me, accuse me of lying, or otherwise spot something out of place, I can interfere by remaining aloof or coy. And that means that I get a bonus if I am being cruel, and if we are in public. On a hit, they take a -2 to their roll, and on a 10+, they also reveal their true feelings to me. But on a miss, they automatically get a 10+ and don't have to roll.
Excellent. And you when you use that on NPCs, the effect usually happens on an NPC in most cases there for this. Picturing particularly young or older, a little bit wiser, how are you imagining her?
I imagine her to be a young, sort of rising star amongst her family or amongst her community, probably around the ages of sort of late teens to early 20s.
Okay.
I envision that she is the heir to her missing father's fortune. I imagine that her father was famous and successful off of a gold mine he owns down in Argentina, but he has since disappeared and is presumed dead. Perhaps he will show up dramatically in a twist of fate during this session. I don't know. But I'm thinking that she and perhaps her mother are finding themselves with all of this money and all of this status, but they have no concept of how to handle any of it because it's really their
Interesting.
father's. And what do you do when that happens is the question that she's about to answer.
Excellent. A rich, wealthy young woman who perhaps is uncertain about which way to go in her life. Excellent. That gives us rich fodder to work from, which then definitely brings us to LaDonna. Ray, tell us about your character.
My character's name is Ursula Isabella, she, her, and she is not quite sure yet, but her two moves are schemes. So she has two pre-existing schemes where she is conniving behind the scenes to keep people apart, bring them together, seize property, protection, revenge, that sort of thing. And then her other move is I chose tell me everything. When you offer to take the burden of someone's guilt, ask them if they choose to accept or reject your advice. If they accept, they clear a condition if they want. If they do what you advise, if they don't, they mark a condition. So I imagine that she's probably someone who's in charge of the seaside resort, if not outright in charge, or perhaps there's a factional thing going on. Veronica, if we want to intertwine our backstories, I'm more than open to that as well. And I don't have much beyond that yet, just sort of feeling it out at the moment.
So definitely with your second move, there's a sense of manipulation, playing nice to their face. Maybe does that seem how you're imagining things?
Yeah, definitely a weaver of sorts. Definitely a face.
And would you prefer your character to be like a part owner, or to simply be powerful in the area? How would you prefer to connect them?
My inclination is towards the former, so probably something to do with ownership, or perhaps she has a claim to ownership or a part claim or something like that. Something related to the resort itself.
So you've got a beautiful suite. You've got people, servants, and staff that you can call on. All of those things are at your disposal.
Yes. Loved by the staff. Loved by all the cleaning staff.
Yes.
Very kind to them.
Excellent. And then let us come to El Jefe. Tell us about who you are.
So Michel Bertrand, he joined the hotel staff as a concierge, which is a kind of position you can really stretch in the hospitality industry. So he started with very little responsibilities, and over time he's grown. He asserted more and more control towards the hotel. So while the Donna is someone really appreciated, Michel has grown into influence within the staff, but in a more controlling manner, knowing more of their secrets or borderline blackmailing them. He's really grown to the show as a secondary character, which grown towards now, which is What I picked my last time on is I took over business or political seat as an interim leader. I would say there used to be a manager on top of the concierge, but something happened to that manager, and now Michel, as the concierge, is the interim manager pretty much. So the Donna is the owner, maybe, of the resort, I would say, but he's the person running things and knowing where things are. Maybe the staff doesn't like him, but he definitely controls them. And
So
his past is a bit mysterious. He's French, but yeah, what he's been doing before joining the hotel is a bit unclear. It was a previous manager who brought him in and never revealed his secrets, or at least before he disappeared.
and so it is a question of this previous manager having vanished. People aren't sure what happened to them, was there a body?
I guess he went sailing and he didn't come
Absolutely.
back.
This is strange, a poor choice of weather for it. No one's quite certain about that. And you have the thugs move. But do you imagine that these are actual like criminals that work for you, or are they just people that are employees of the hotel that will do your bidding? What do you imagine for that move?
I imagine they are probably the least, what's the word, scrupulous of the staff. Call them Rafaela and Ignacio. And yeah, they're really the one willing to work from me, the ones which are the least forced to work to serve my biddings. And yeah, they will tell on people who are speaking behind my back and this sort of things, and would definitely do any of my biddings.
And what did you choose for your second move?
So my second move will be, I think I will go, I hesitated between two. I think I will go for What's Beautiful Once.
I think what was beautiful once, isn't that?
Did I miss something? I
Yeah,
took
I
a
think
wrong one.
that's the LaDonna.
Teledona. Oh.
Yes, it's down a little bit in that same column.
Okay. I see what happened. Hmm. Um. I will go for Bitter Rage.
That is a good
So
one.
while you have Rageful marked, take an extra +1 to the bonus to strike out.
Excellent. We have a few NPCs that are on the table that you can add into relationships, things that just people we can call on. We'll make up others. We've got pictures for some of the characters. Let me establish a little bit about them. They're on the NPCs tab. We have Elena. In the fiction of the show, she was a young, naive, and innocent character who was on for good 30 episodes and then went away. We're returning she's returned to the show now in the middle of some big event that's happening at the hotel, and she's there to shake things up. We have Alma Lacasa, who is essentially the desk clerk, who kind of stands at the nexus of all things, not nearly as powerful as our concierge, but there to work with. Santino Pinto, who is the director of security for the place. And then Ephraim Sanchez, who is an old gentleman who lives on the hotel. He's been there for years and years and years, has his own private room, and probably knows things. These are all people that you can call on. We've got two things that we're going to do now. The first is that we're going to establish relationship questions. You'll see that each of you has an open question that you're going to put a name into. And then once we've got set that, then when we kind of go to move things forward, we're going to have everybody choose a last time on from that list of things. So David, you heard the introductions to the characters, and you've got 2 choices there. What do you think you want to do with those blanks there?
I am thinking that it would be appropriate if, and I'm gonna do a lot of mispronunciation today. Is it Michel? Is that it? Yeah. I'm just wondering if that's how it's pronounced. Michel?
Oh, Michel.
Michel. Okay.
It's
I'm sorry.
French. It's a
Okay.
French character.
Okay, I apologize. I was thinking that perhaps Michel has been a source of entertainment and flirtation whom I keep at arm's length, perhaps because it really riles up, my mother or someone else to see me flirt with this person. And in by way of contrast, perhaps Ursula is the person who I go to when I'm truly ready to cut loose. I was curious, before we proceed any further,
Sure.
Ray, were you thinking that would you be comfortable if you were playing as my mother, or would you prefer to kind of keep a little bit more distance there?
That's not a problem. We can do that.
Okay, just to entangle things a little bit more, I'd be completely fine with that. So in that case, yeah, Ursula will be someone I go to when I'm truly ready to cut loose, and Michelle, a source of entertainment and flirtation.
Excellent. That gives us a sense there. So that brings us then to Ursula. So what do you want to do for your filling in of those choices there?
I could go either way. I think Veronica, when you say the person you go to when you're truly ready to cut loose, so am I a confidant to you? Would you be okay to have a contentious relationship? What's sort of what were you thinking over there?
I'm comfortable with us having a contentious relationship. Perhaps it's a situation where we're theoretically in this together. We've both kind of lost father/husband. But I am young and easily manipulated and therefore cannot be trusted with all the money. But I still make demands of you to let me do things because it's my money too, Mom. And that perhaps is a source of contention between us.
Sure. So I am going to say Veronica is someone I've sparred with a very long time, and therefore Michelle is like a broken little bird that I have taken care of.
You still think of them as that young person that joined the hotel years ago, and maybe they're more innocent, despite what people say.
Certainly.
Perhaps I suspect Michelle as having some hand in the death of my father or the disappearance of my father, and that leads to some contention between my mother and I, if Michelle is a broken little bird and I'm highly suspicious of him.
I like it. It's very nice.
I think that would be a good dynamic, yeah. The way I envision it is I probably recruited Michelle or gave him the opportunity, and I am probably blind to his power-grabbing ways, and perhaps Veronica has been trying to confront me about it, and I refuse to listen. See no evil, hear no evil.
Excellent. And then Michelle, what about for you?
I mean, for me, it seems very straightforward. I think, if you don't mind, Ursula has been a thorn on my side and a constant irritation. Maybe not an active source of irritation like you are foiling my plans, but you're being so nice and you still have the power, and you treat me like this broken little bird, which I actually find extremely annoying and frustrating. and yeah, it just irritates me to no end. And yeah, I would really like to get rid of you.
That seems good. And then Veronica, you wish to possess?
Yeah, I think it's also straightforward that Veronica is an object of beauty I have sworn to possess. One day you will be mine.
So we're going to get started. I want to, we're going to do our last time on. We're going to kind of set up the opening sequence. We're going to play a couple of scenes, and then we'll take a break because I just want to kind of come off of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this last time on. You're going to pick one of those things, and you're going to describe what we see on screen on the previously on. And you can involve other characters. You can make up things. And essentially, we're going to sweep into that. And then I'm going to ask you after that, when we go to the title sequence, I'm going to come to you and you have to tell me what we see you doing, what your pose is, what your expression is when we see you on camera during that opening sweep. So of course, when the show starts, we get that previously on. Veronica, what is the last time on scene we see for your character there?
Let's say that I threw wine into my mother's face in a blind fit of just righteous indignation.
Were you alone? Were you in a public space? What do we see?
Let us say that we were alone. We were meeting in this like weirdly intimate kind of mother-daughter sort of setting in this large, extravagant hotel room with like the full moon and the seaside in the background. And I don't know what we were talking about, but she said something I didn't like, and I just threw this wine in her face and stormed off dramatically, my dress whipping behind me.
Excellent. And then Ursula, what is the last time on? What is the sequence we see from a previous episode for you?
The last thing you saw on the last episode was me handing the keys or suggesting to Michelle that perhaps he should take a boat trip, something like that. Like the keys, or I don't know what would be appropriate, but something related to the boat.
Absolutely. Handing that off, and maybe a stinger of music when you do that. You know, we don't know whether it's a thread or something mysterious, what the connection is. Maybe you know more.
It's a
I
beautiful
like that.
sunset today.
And then Michelle, what is the last time on we see for you?
I think that there's a little gathering of the staff complaining about something which is happening, and they show up at the desk and they're welcomed by Michelle, and they're like, what happened with Enrique, the manager? Who's going to be in charge now? As a decision has been reached, and who are we going to tell about our problems? And I say, well, do not worry. I'm going to call the manager immediately. Someone has been already elected to the position. And I just sweep the little thing with the name of the manager on the desk, and it shows Michel Bertrand, manager. Say, see, I am here if you have any problem. And
Excellent.
standing behind me, they are a bit with a maleficent grin. You got Rafaela and Ignacio.
So Enrique just recently, so in the last couple of episodes, vanished, and now you've made your play, huh?
Yeah, it's a big thing. The growth, the first of power of Michel. It's like this terrible moment when I don't know, GR gets in control of the business or something like that. So what's going to happen now?
Excellent. So we would get the flashes of the long shots of the ocean, and then we see the cliffside. We've got some drones that we got those camera shots to kind of sweep in. There's the shots across the pool. We see the lobby, we see bellhops carrying bags and so on. And then it comes in to show the credits. And Veronica, what is the pose or look when we come in to show you on screen?
Veronica always wears this sort of trademark ankle length green dress with this halter construction, this plunging neckline. It clinches or cinches, I guess, at the waist, and it has this thigh-high slit. And she has this trademark pose that she strikes where at first the camera does a close-up of her face with a very soft focus to obscure any potential I don't want to say deformities, but any potential flaws.
Yeah, blemishes.
Yeah, blemishes, exactly. And she will kind of absent-mindedly take her fingers and run them through her hair, revealing this manicure, and she brings her hair back to reveal these large, gaudy earrings of like a black rose. And the camera comes back out, and she strikes this pose where she reveals this one long, bare leg with the slit of the dress, and she has these large studded heels, and she looks very beautiful and very confident, and someone's turned a wind machine on and her hair is flowing in the dress.
Absolutely.
That's what we see.
What color dress?
Green, this nice
Green.
jade color.
And then, we do some more shots of people working in the kitchens. We get shots of some of the other characters like Alma. And then Ursula, what's the glamour shot we see of you? What's the impression we get from that?
So is this the opening title sequence? Is this
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be her coming down a grand stairwell at like an evening soiree. You know what I mean? With a beautiful dressed to the nines, and just looking over her domain.
And if green is your daughter's signature color, what is your signature color?
I think it would have to be a deep fuchsia pink.
Oh, okay. Good. Strong, vibrant, unusual color.
Prince. She's all about Prince. She likes the,
like that. And then there's some more shots outside. We see a hunk getting up out of the pool, glistening on that. And then, the dance club and so on. And then when we come to Michelle, what is the we see for you in that title sequence?
So Michelle is a balding, dark hair, probably dyed black hair man in a not quite a tuxedo, like the staff is wearing in the hotel. So it's fancy and classy, like a tuxedo with a what do you call not a tie, the other thing. The bow tie, yeah, that's the thing. With the bow tie, he's got very severe brows, and on his breast he's got a roses, and the scene is that his profile rearranging a flower arrangement from the hotel, and he picks one of the flowers from the flower arrangement, removes the one in his vest and replace it from the rose from the flower arrangement, and the one which was on his dress, he just, as he turns towards the camera with a nefarious look, he squashes the rose, which he doesn't have a use for anymore.
Nice. And then we come in, beautiful blue skies. We see the ocean, but there's lots of activity outside. We had Elena arrive last time. There's a big event. Ursula, what is the big event that's important to the hotel that's going on right now? Is it a big conference? Is it a wedding? Is it a meeting? What is the big thing that is really important right now?
It is a sailboat race that happens every year around our location and brings in people, sailing enthusiasts, yachters from all over the world, and for a week period, our little community has the highest concentration of millionaires and billionaires in all the world.
The La Rosa Regatta is going on here, and what is the problem right now? Something has gone wrong. We're still in the early days of this week, but what has happened that you need to deal with right now?
Would be nice something related to the manager who disappeared. There's rumors of something which would threaten the regatta. Maybe there's a shark, something like that. But should we cancel? Should we cancel? Should we not?
Maybe. So I had to dispose, or something with the previous manager threatened the hotel as a whole. And boating, don't know. Suggestions, anyone?
Well,
so I like the direction.
Let's play off of that. Let's have you in your office with the mayor of the local area, who's saying, so as I understand, Enrique is no longer with the hotel. He went missing, the previous manager.
Yes, we're still investigating his whereabouts. It's quite a shame. However, I assure you that we have everything perfectly handled, and it's going exactly as planned.
Well, I know that that Enrique was speaking with Detective Perez about matters with the potential threat of the shark out in the things, but that seems to have been dealt with. Has it been?
She's going to take a large gulp of tea or something, where you can see a little bit of Adam's apple, and she's going to smile and say, rest assured, everything is being taken care of. The event will go as smoothly as in years past. We have nothing to worry about. There's the rumors of the sharks. It's nothing but rumors. There's nothing to it. And just sort of brush it off and change the subject.
And the mayor stops and pulls out a cigar and lights it up without asking, and says, I wonder what kind of assurances what can you do to put my mind at ease here? I mean, I wish to see the regatta go on, but then there's the safety of the people.
She is going to compose herself and sort of straighten herself up and go, of course, the safety of the people is our number one concern. And if extra measures must be taken to ensure that the people are safe at this event, well, you can be rest assured that, what's our resort name called again? Roselia?
La Rosa Corrida.
Rosa Corrida will do their part in assuring their utmost safety.
And the mayor leans forward and he puts his hands on the desk and he says, I would like perhaps some more concrete assurance. And you can tell he wants something from you. He's clearly putting pressure on you to try and demand a bribe or something. Do you want to give in to that, or do you want to push back?
I would like to. I'll give in. I will give in.
What do you offer the mayor?
I'm going to offer him what would the mayor want? Maybe something along the lines of access to some of the famous people that are at the resort, or sort of just rubbing shoulders with the right people at some sort of night event or gala.
Push forward a few invitations to him.
Exactly. Yeah. Just make sure he has a nice seat front and center with some very important people.
Excellent. And of course, my re-election campaign is coming up in a few months, and you'll certainly help me out with a venue at that time.
Again, she's going to kind of stonewall before breaking into a smile, or a gracious smile, and be like, you have our assurances, dear mayor.
Excellent. Excellent. And he'll put the invitations in his pocket, and he leaves his cigar still smoldering on your desk as he goes to rise and heads out. Well, then you can be assured that there'll be no problems with Detective Perez. And he will head out. Let's cut to Veronica. Veronica, who is your latest fling that is at the hotel right now? And are you in the middle of the passionate heat of that, or are you working on dumping them?
Perhaps Mr. Santino Pinto, the head of security, might be my latest fling. And I think that I am, at this moment, very convinced that I'm deeply in love with him. The problem is I'm very mercurial, and who's to say what's going to happen next week? But for the time being, I'm quite committed. And I'm convinced that I'm quite committed, even if I'm not really in practice.
Santino Pinto, where do we see the two of you having this conversation?
What time of day is it?
You
or
tell
night?
me.
Okay. Perhaps we are sharing a couple of glasses of wine overlooking the seaside. We have gotten away from the hotel and we've walked down this garden path, and now we're overlooking the moonlight shining off of the rich crystal clear waves. It's really just a very bad matte painting in the background, but that's what it's supposed to be. And maybe that's where we're talking, kind of secluded away from people. It's sort of a romantic moment of isolation, just the two of us.
And he says, Veronica, why will you not come away with me for at least a time? I would like to spend time with you outside of the shadow of your mother.
I'll place my hand delicately on his chest, and I will say, Santino, you know that there is nothing more that I want than to be with you. But you must understand, my mother, she's completely blind to the intrusion that Michelle is trying to put on us. He's trying to take over. He's trying to obtain my father's fortune. And you know my allegiance is first and foremost to my late father. But if you help me, and once this is all done, then we will go away. We will leave all of this, and it will be just you and me together forever.
Ooh, and I think you're actually demanding what you deserve here, right? I think you are trying to get him to go along. You're suggesting something a little more serious, right?
If he works with me to deal with Michelle, then he gets to have me forever.
Excellent. So what is your playbook's question that you always ask?
It is, am I the center of attention?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we get a +1 from that. Are you offering something of value in return? Let us say yes.
Myself, yes.
And do they love you in this moment? Yes. So you may roll with a +3.
All right. That is a natural 7 plus 3 is 10.
So what option do you want to remove from them?
Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. So there are 3 options here, and I take away one, and then they choose one from the remaining. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will say that I I do not want him to be able to run away. He must either concede or he must refuse, but he must give me an answer.
And you see him hesitate. Clearly, there's some reason he doesn't want to commit to acting against Michelle. But he pauses and he looks at you, and the moonlight hits you, and he says, "Yes, yes, I will do whatever you wish. If we need to deal with Michelle, then we will deal with Michelle."
I give this like very loving sigh of affection, and I just go, "Oh, Santino," and I lean in, and there's this beautifully framed shot of us kissing against the ocean waves. Just the
Excellent.
silhouettes.
And then we cut to Michelle. Michelle, what is it? What is it that you're hoping to get out of this regatta? What plan do you think you have in place here?
So I think that Ursula's Isabella reputation is on the line. If this doesn't proceed as she planned, that could be very bad for reputation and even the health, financial health of the hotel. So I think Michelle is already looking to grow even higher, and he's been in talk with Ephraim Sanchez, who would be a potential individual to rebuy the hotel if it was going into some kind of bankruptcy. And the agreement is that he's helping Ephraim Sanchez to create the situation, but then Michel would be, as he knows how everything runs, he would be the one in charge.
And so let's say a scene where you're meeting with Ephraim. Where would you meet? What is the shot when we come in? What do we see?
I think so. Well, it would be on Ephraim's yacht, I think. So Ephraim is a old-looking man. He's wearing a trunk swimsuit, which is colorful, but himself, it's it's an old man in a swimsuit. Michelle is wearing a hat and Ray-Bans, which are somewhat covering his features, his identity. And Ephraim is in a transatlantic chair, while Michelle is standing next to him. Ephraim is offering champagne to celebrate the future success of their plans.
So I see now that you've announced to the staff that you've taken over the management.
Yes, and of course they took the news with great joy. They're happy some kind of appropriate person will be in charge now. As I've been telling you, the hotel has been running poorly, and as you can see from the accounting books I showed you in confidence, things are on the brink of collapsing, sadly.
Yes. But this regatta is important to the financial health. Disrupting it entirely seems a dangerous game.
Well, it's not my fault if Mrs. Ursula Isabella didn't properly read the letters from the oceanographic department, which were sent to them, warning everyone in the region about any kind of boating activities in this season. And I show him the letters from the institute, and I tear them and throw them overboard.
He says, "So I have another favor to ask of you."
Well, of course, it would be my pleasure, Mr. Sanchez.
There is a minor matter. Since you seem to have access, this is the first time he's brought this up. He says, there is a safe in Ursula's office. There are some papers in there that are of great interest to a friend of mine. And before we can close this deal, I will need those papers brought to me. Is that doable for you? Can you handle that?
Well, of course. Anything for my favorite business partner, Mr. Sanchez.
Excellent, excellent. Well, then I look forward to seeing what will happen. Another drink?
A little, I'm very serious when I'm working.
Is that a no then?
No, I'll just finish my glass. Thank you very much.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I think on that sort of ominous music that we'll hear over that scene, I think we'll cut. Let's take a 5-minute break here, and when we come back, let's do some scenes. I'll have you call some, and we'll cross people's paths and so on. Does that seem fair? Okay. So let's take 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll start again. Did you play something yesterday, David?
Yeah, I did a Hearts of Woolen game with Dan. It was wonderful.
Excellent.
And Alan ran his Alien Dark hack, and that was a good one. I've never played that before.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
really
played it. You liked it?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cthulhu Dark, and this was a really, really good take on that system. Really, really good stuff if you're into that kind of game.
Okay, yeah, I will have to get him to run that for me so I can try that out. Let's come back from the break. Ursula?
Can you just remind me,
Yes.
what did I was asked to find in the safe?
Some papers.
Document? Or just papers? I wasn't.
Yes.
I was trying to remember what papers, but it's just papers.
Yes, he didn't specify, but he gave you the impression that you would know when you saw them. Ursula, what scene would you like to move to? What do you want to do, or who do you want to interact with, or what do you think needs to happen next for her?
I think that I need to talk to Michelle about the arrangement, or just making sure that everything has been handled with regards to our festival and our forlorn manager.
Do you call him to your office, or do you go to where he's at?
I will go to where he's at the moment.
All right. So we're a little while later. Michelle, where will Ursula find you? What are you in the middle of doing, or where are you at?
Where could I be? I think I'm in a corridor, checking on the maids, making sure they're doing the work properly, and this sort of stuff. So it's kind of an inspection, double checking that they're doing things right.
Do we have the sense the maids are appreciative of your attention, or bothered that you're micromanaging?
Seem somewhat scared.
Okay, they're trying. They're nervous about the new administration. They're there. So Ursula, you will see Michelle, and you can speak with him.
So I'm going to pull Ursula or Michelle aside and be like, is everything handled, or how are, and just sort of signal for an update as to sort of our general scheming and plans.
All the floor arrangements are in place. The caterers have prepared the buffet alongside the pool. All the moorings for the boats are in place and ready to welcome the yachts, which have people staying over. For the larger boats we cannot access or mooring directly, we've got some ferrying which is organized, and everything seems to be going well. There's just one little thing, if I may, I'm a bit concerned about. I promise I will be dealing with that personally, but since, if I may, it's somewhat involved one of your relatives, I thought I should have a word about that with you. I'm a bit concerned about Mr. Pinto has been somewhat distracted lately and has not been as thorough in his job in managing our security over the last couple days. So I need to have a word with him regarding that. The reason I'm bringing that up with you, Madame Isabella, is that it seems Mr. Pinto has got an interest in your daughter. Sorry if I'm a bit straightforward with the question, but as you know me, business before anything.
Ursula is going to curse quietly underneath her breath. and then kind of grab Michelle by the wrist and be like, listen to me. This week is the most important week of the entire year. Make sure you handle it. I will take care of my daughter. And then kind of look into Michelle's eyes and sort of make sure that he has the proper fear of God in him, or the fear of Ursula.
So you demanding what you deserve, you think, there? Or
Yeah,
you,
I think so.
Okay, yeah. So what is your personal question for your character?
Do they freeze? What my personal question is, are you keeping your hands clean?
Do you
I
think
would
you
say, yeah, I feel like Ursula thinks she has it handled because she's delegating and has multiple degrees of separation from everything.
Okay. And are you offering Michelle something of value in return?
No, definitely not. I've already
Okay.
given him plenty.
Okay. And I think, Michelle, I assume that you do not love Ursula in this moment.
No.
So you will roll with a +1, Ursula.
Okay. 2d6.
2d6.
Ooh, I got a 6 + 1, 7.
So on a 7, Michelle, you decide one of those three things. Do you want to concede? Do you want to refuse, or do you want to run away, like depart the scene? What would you like?
I can't see to solve the problem. I sort of made up, but yeah. So, of course, madam, I will take care of it, and will tell Mr. Pinto that we had enough of his manners with the staff, some members of the staff so far, and lately your daughter. This cannot go on. I cannot be as lenient as our previous manager. I apologize that it
Good.
brought
Excellent.
to this point.
Make sure it's handled. And Michelle, as she's walking away, you talk too much.
And yeah, it's a sign of friction that we haven't seen before there. Does she know something? It's an interesting question.
I think she's just stressed at the moment. She's just high strung from her daughter and the whole situation. So,
Speaking of your daughter, let's cut to.
Well, if I can close,
yes,
just
please.
as Ursula leave, I might be speaking too much, but I will have the last word. And I think we were in one of the bedrooms. The maid just arranged it. I pick the chocolates they left on the what do you call that? On the bed for the new guest. I pop it in my mouth, and I snap to a maid. You forgot to put a sweet for our client.
It's over. Goes away, sort of terrified. They made such a clear error in your presence. So Veronica, it's I think we've established it's now day. The regatta is kind of getting underway. What are you up to? Do you want to cross paths with someone? Is there some thing you want to carry out? What would you like?
Perhaps we could have the scene where I believe Ursula said that she was going to deal with me in some way. Of course, it's up to Ursula what the timing of that scene and where and when you want to hold that conversation.
I was thinking maybe I can walk onto you while you're doing something you really enjoy, but maybe I am not too fond of, or something that kind of strikes at the dynamic of our mother-daughter relationship.
Okay, so how about this? Maybe if it's during the day, perhaps there is, a big event kind of that evening, some party that's being thrown sort of in celebration of the regatta. And prior to this party, to keep up appearances, I'm getting my car waxed and detailed, and it's this bright red Ferrari F8 that's just $300,000, and it's parked outside the hotel, and there's all these sort of hunky pool boys working on it in front of me while I watch over them. And it really details that while you're doing all of this important administrative work, I'm out here just whiling away my time with pretty men and cars, and throwing away all of my money, basically. So maybe like that.
Yeah, and maybe I can hurl some sort of insult to you to sort of open something just shy of calling you sort of like an attention grabber, and just deep enough to kind of cut through your psyche.
Okay.
So the shot is outside. We see that they're probably still a little bit of slow motion as they're sudsing the car up and cleaning things. And there, as you come out and see your daughter, it doing this again. So what do you say? What would get under her skin, Ursula?
It's not the car that needs cleaning, darling.
And good day to you. What's gotten under your skin, Mother?
You think I haven't forgotten about our little talk last night? And what's this I hear you about hanging around this, it was Ignacio, Michelle?
Santino Pinto.
Santino Pinto.
Well, if you'll let me answer one question at a time, Mother. Number one, last night, I apologize for having lost my temper, but you must understand that Michelle is a very real threat to both you and I. I'm only trying to be the voice of reason, and it's no wonder if I can't have you helping me that I must turn to Mr. Pinto to help me. I mean, he's the only man I can count on. He helps, and he's protective, and he's there in a way that you're not, Mother.
She's gonna take out one of the Virginia Slims equivalents, the long ones, kind of tap it down and light it up and outside and just kind of blow it and sigh deeply. Just say, I have been trying to teach you ever since you were little that you have responsibilities. Being a Isabella means that you have a duty to take care of this place, not prancing around like a red Ferrari for the world to see. And now rumors have gotten out of you and your lusty trappings. This is the most important week of the entire hotel. You need to think about your actions. This, and it's kind of just there. And then she notices, I guess, that everybody's looking around and kind of composes herself again.
Are you trying to like strike out at her in front of people with your voice? Do you think you're?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
This doesn't feel like a fairly active confrontation out in front of everyone. So
yeah.
Are you keeping your hands clean?
I guess not. No, I definitely would not be in this situation.
Have you caught them off guard? Do you think this has caught you off guard, Veronica?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Or is not the only thing that needs cleaning, did it?
Yeah. Let me ask you, Ursula, have they just wronged you?
From Ursula's point of view, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So roll with a +2.
That is a 9 + 2, 11.
Okay. So on a hit, each of you mark a condition. On a 10+, you can take something from them, or you can choose not to mark a condition, Ursula.
Ooh, I will definitely mark a condition. That sounds fun.
Okay.
Let's say preoccupied. That sounds like it fits.
Okay.
And take something. So when I take something emotionally, or is it sort of how to interpret that?
You can read it any way. You could read it emotionally, like take away some of their confidence, or you could take it literally, like the keys or the staff. What do you think?
I think if Veronica is okay with this, maybe a little bit of her, I guess, what I take from her is her self or her lack of self-awareness, or just just this perception idea that I've brought up, that society, duty, that kind of idea that's now kind of front and center in her mind.
Does that seem fair to you, Veronica?
I think that works. That works.
What do you want to mark for your condition?
I think raging. That really inflamed me in a very angry kind of way.
So what do you
Always
do?
trying to stop me from doing what I want, Mom. I can kind of respond to this in one of two ways. I can either try to play it cool and seething, or I can just go off and have a big, just knockdown, drag out shouting match right there. But that might be better saved for an evening formal occasion when it would be even more inappropriate. So I think I'll play it cool, and I'll just sort of place both hands over my chest and act so shocked and hurt, and I'll say, Mother, how could you think that my priorities would be anything less than pure and intention? I assure you nothing is going on between me and Santino. He's just the only person I can turn to. And I do love you. I just wish that you would listen to me more.
Well, I wasn't born yesterday, darling. You're an Isabella. It's time you start acting like one. And click clack of her heels as she walks away
On the marble. And what do we see the last of you in that scene, Veronica, as your mother walks away?
I think that as Mom walks away, I'll have these kind of big, hopeful, innocent Disney eyes, and I'll just be like looking so forlornly, and I'm so worried, and oh, I'm just this naive damsel. And then as soon as she's out of sight, my eyebrows just like furrow into rage, and I spin around, and this nice boy comes up to me, and he's like, well, we're just about done. And I say, give me the keys. And I grab that thing and I jump and vroom, drive away in this like fit of rage.
They have to jump out of the way when you take off there.
Exactly.
Michelle, what are you doing now? We come back to you.
So Michelle, technically we don't see Michelle, I would say. What we see is, if it's all right, Santino Pinto will get a call on the whatever intercom is used in the hotel from Michelle, telling him that there seems to be an issue. I don't know what it is about. Just go there and sort it out for me in one of the storage rooms. And what I would like to do is, when Santino Pinto arrives there, enters the storage room, waiting there for him is one of my thugs, Rafaela, delicious Rafaela, who grabs him and rips open his shirt. And I'd like my other thug, see if it's successful, of course, to take compromising pictures of Pinto with Rafaela.
So do you think this is an easy job?
Well, Rafaela is beautiful. Pinto is kind of a womanizer. I don't know. I mean, if it gets physical, so just for people who don't see the pictures, the beautiful Rafaela is cast as Ima Pearson is cast as Rafaela, and Dave Bautista is cast to play Ignacio. Maybe it was the beginning of his career.
We'll give you an easy job. They're in good health. We haven't established that they've taken any ill effects yet. And what is your personal question?
Are you taking control of this situation?
I think that's a yes. So you're rolling with a +3.
13.
13. You will rough them up, and I think that you will get the shots.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there is that moment when Pinto, pulls away, realizes what's going on, and turns, and there's a brief melee between him and Ignacio, but Ignacio strikes him across the face, sends him down, and he looks up, and now the makeup artist has put the black eye on him, and there's this strategic, little stream of blood, and
Ignacio would say, if you want the pictures, you will have to ask Monsieur Bertrand for them.
What does your boss want?
I don't know. What he wants, I give him. What he wants from you, you can ask him yourself.
He'll stand up and he says, I won't forget this. What do your thugs do?
They leave, and Rafaela laughs and blows a kiss to him.
And I think do we see them delivering the photos to you?
Yeah, or maybe it's too early. Pinto could just rush to my office already.
He comes. He's rebuttoned his torn button shirt as best he can, and he's got that bruise. He's throws the door open as he comes in, and he's clearly in a rage. Bertrand,
Mr. Pinto,
what are you playing at?
I'm very disappointed with your behavior. First, courting multiple maids, then the daughter of Madame, and finally assaulting one of our esteemed member of staff. That's not the sort of behavior which we tolerate in this kind of establishments.
What is it that you want?
Oh, well, you looking after everything here. Well, the thing I want is things to run smoothly in the hotel as part of the regatta. So I'd like you to be careful of your duty. And since safety is in your job, there's actually something in Madame Isabella's safe, which I think has been misplaced. Some papers. And I think, Madame Isabella likes me to sort the issues for her. And she prefers even not to hear about those issues. So I would appreciate if you could bring me these papers discreetly without bothering anyone beside you and me.
And the photos then?
The photos, this world, the digital world, something is as easily deleted immediately as they can end up in the hands of a number of salacious people, which is a shame. But yeah, I can look into these things. Clumsy I am with computers.
So you're demanding something.
Yes.
You've got something that he needs, so you're offering something of value in return. I don't think he loves you. But you're definitely taking charge of the situation, so that feels like a +2.
Okay, I roll. So that would be a 10.
That is a 10. So what option from demand what you deserve do you want to eliminate for them so that they only have 2 choices?
Okay. It says in basic moves, demand what you deserve.
Yeah.
I need to remove 2 options then.
1 option, and they'll pick from the other 2.
Okay. I would remove the refuse and escalate.
All right. I'll do what you want. But this is the last time. Do not push me any further, or you will find out exactly what I'm capable of. And he'll turn and he heads out. He's tried to get the last word, but you can tell that he's going to do your bidding.
Great. And Michel picks, he's got a bowl, it's full of those sweets they leave on the bed. He unwraps one, say, everything is going according to plan. And he throws it and grabs it in his mouth.
Excellent. Ursula, let's come back to you. What things do you need to get done for your own personal peace of mind, or what things do you have to do for the regatta? What's your next step here?
I think the next time we see Ursula, she's in her private office. She closes the sturdy oak door behind her. I don't know. Do they use oak at seaside resorts? Who knows?
Yeah.
Lock the door, and she goes to the safe and kind of tinkers with it, unlocks it, takes out those documents, and she has a match that she lights up, and she holds it there. And as she's about to light it, we flash back to let's see the flashback move. Other moves.
You can reveal a shocking truth, or you can flash back to preparations.
Okay, so shocking truth, and it will be a fight with her husband and Veronica's father, and she will be pleading with him, be like, no, please. And he's going to be in a rage, and it's going to be all sort of hazy, but they're clearly fighting and, about something. And the mahogany, and the father is going to be threatening to reveal something, and I'm going to be grabbing his arms and be like, no, please, I beg you, just don't. And then, so should I roll for that?
Yeah, let's roll, because essentially, and it's a truth about another PC. So you're revealing something about the backstory of Veronica. So I think this applies. So what condition do you want to mark before you roll this?
Oh man, I'm racking these up quick. Let's go with, I guess, introspective would fit right now.
Absolutely. So you're going to roll with a +2 on this.
Okay. That's 11 plus 2.
So you get to choose 2 things from the list there.
Okay. Did you have fabricated a piece you arranged for somebody to be in the right place at the right time? You stowed away something. So you stowed away something hidden.
Oh, are you flashing back to preparations?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Is this, so...
You're revealing a shocking truth is what you...
Oh, okay, gotcha. Shocking truth gives you rightful claim to something they value. Introduce a shocking new character who has your back. You have unequivocal evidence this is true. So if it's all right with Veronica, what I was thinking was maybe, it's something like your birth certificate or something, and that you were born out of wedlock or something shocking like that.
We see the birth certificate. We see a different name on for the father. As what's the name?
Ooh, let's see. Can we entangle anybody? Let's go with the mayor.
Okay.
Let's bring him back into it.
So we see the mayor's name on that as you light that up. And what's the other pick that you want?
The other pick is shocking truth gives you rightful claim to something they value. Introduce a shocking new character. I guess I can't do a new character. The shocking truth gives you...
You could do a new character. We would just pan the camera around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so maybe I can... So maybe as I am about to light it, I put down the match. I don't light it, and I say to no one in particular, but of course to the camera, no, she deserves to know the truth. And at that moment, someone knocks on the door, and perhaps this can be one of my personal fixers that I go to.
Man or a woman?
Have we brought in Alma into the fiction yet?
No, we haven't.
So let's say it's Alma. And yeah,
She sees what you're doing. She goes, "Are you going to destroy that?"
like, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. That's not why I called you in here. How are arrangements going?
Fine, but you should put that away before someone sees it.
She'll kind of cover it up on her desk and sort of smash it along with all the other journals and notes and papers there. She's going to check the door again, make sure it's closed, and then confront Alma and be like, I need you to do a favor for me.
Anything. What is it you want, Mother?
Oh,
How's that for shocking? Listen, does
Yeah.
that work for you?
Works for me. Let's say, what should we do right now? Should we talk about the mayor? Should we go to the daughter? Let's go to the mayor, and I'll be like, the mayor wants compensation for the assurance that the event is going to still happen. I need you to make sure, I'm going to hand her another stack of papers. On this list, we arrange for the least famous person to be taken away and for them to be inserted, and everyone needs to remain happy. Am I perfectly clear?
Yes, but do you think this will be the end of it?
Don't question me, daughter. I have enough of that all day. Everybody is just questions. Oh, do you think you're doing the right thing? Are you this and that? All of you have just, why can't you just listen to me?
No, I'm sorry. I'll be a good daughter. Not like Veronica. I will. I will take care of this for you.
Thank you.
And she kind of nervously bows and she will head out.
Okay.
That seems like a good place. Or do we want to see another shot of you before we cut? Okay. Veronica, who do you want to interact with? I think at some point we'll probably see Pinto kind of sees you, but heads off in a different direction, unusually. But where do we find you?
Oh my goodness, I have no idea. Let me see here. I could see myself saying, because I haven't had a lot of chances to interact with Michelle yet in the game, so maybe I decide that it's time to try to up the ante and play Michelle and my mother against each other. You know, I mean, if I can't convince my mother that Michelle's a problem, well, then I can convince Michelle to be a problem for my mother. Maybe that will bring her to her senses. So perhaps we can frame a scene with Michelle and myself, in which case I go with what I know, and I guess I'll just be flirtatious.
So where do you want the scene to happen? Is it in Michelle's office? Is it while he's walking his rounds? Where would you like to catch him? You were kind of setting this up.
Sure. I'm trying to think. I guess it depends on time of day on some level. Michelle, do you have any input for this? I've got a couple of ideas here.
I mean, I was just throwing things in the chat. The bar, an ice cream bar, if you end up eating a lot of ice cream when you are made mad by your mother, the rose garden, the golf course, or maybe the cliff. We can go there, foreshadow some future use of the cliff, or the pier where you got all the yachts and so on, and there's a lot of activity going on.
What do you like, Veronica?
I kind of like the idea of going through the same garden that I was with Pinto last night. I just have this little betrayal garden that I walk everybody through. And
Is tell me something about it. Is it rose bushes? Is it more tropical plants? How is it set up? What's the big feature of this garden that we'll see?
I imagine that it is this great labyrinthine rose garden with tall hedges, such that you feel kind of, oh my gosh, yes, they bloom at night. And there are these tall hedges so that you can kind of be visually secluded and away from people, but they're hedges, so anyone standing on the other side could eavesdrop, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And maybe the central feature is this brilliant, ornate fountain in the middle of the garden once you reach the heart of it all. And it opens up into this massive panorama landscape of the seaside cliff and the waters crashing and so forth.
I think it's clearly shot indoor also. It's secluded, so it's indoor, and most of the general shots we see of the beach and so on, they're stock footage because all the budget went on renting that Ferrari.
So yeah, we got this indoor set. It's well lit. The fountain is beautiful. Veronica, you're the person approaching. So how do you open this? What's your opening gambit for dealing with Michelle?
I think I'll play the I'm desperate, naive, and helpless. Please help me card. And so it will be the it'll be this dramatic, I rush to the garden and, my dress is flowing dramatically behind me as I run with one hand on my chest and my other hand is outstretched, and I say, Michelle, Michelle, and I throw myself into his arms and I say, Michelle, you have to help. Everything's gone wrong. Everything is so wrong. And I just begin to have like a single delicately applied tear run down my cheek as they do the soft focus close-up of my face.
Oh, come on, my dear little child. Tell Michelle about all your troubles. I'm here to listen to you.
Oh,
I'm always here
Michelle.
to listen to your problems and try to help you the best I can.
It's my mother, Michelle. You know her so well. I need to know what to do about her. She seems to be completely intent on completely messing up the regatta and mismanaging everything, and I'm afraid that she's going to just throw our family fortune away, and she's so vulnerable, and I'm afraid that someone might make a move and step in and take action against her in some way. But I don't know what to do. I think perhaps it is the mayor or Pinto. Everybody's jockeying for our fortune, and you're the only one I can trust.
Oh, my sweet child, I'm very touched by the confidence you have for me. But are you really telling me everything? I share your concern about how well this regatta has been going on, and with what happened to the previous manager, I fear for my own safety, to be honest. But is it really about the regatta? Isn't it about something else? You can tell everything to Michelle.
Can we perhaps? I'm looking at the chat here, and I agree. I don't know who's rolling to deceive who at this point. I feel like my
let's find out.
Would be, yeah, like my response would be contingent on whether or not I was bamboozled.
Well, I think here's the thing. So I think you came in and kind of set up the scene, and you've declared something. But Michelle is kind of coming back and maybe accusing you of not giving the full truth. Now, Michelle could be demanding you tell, or could be accusing you of lying. What do you think, or even trying to distract you? How do you feel? How aggressive do you feel that scene is?
Are you asking the both of us, or?
Yeah, I'm asking both of you. What do you think that?
Well, I was role playing and seeing where it's leading. I got an end game I want to achieve, but I'm just seeing where the role play leads me. So I don't feel like compelled to do an aggressive move right now. I'm just curious to see where
Yeah, I think we're
Mrs. Young Isabella is doing it.
So I think we're on the precipice. Like he's pushed, but he's pushed gently. So I think you still have kind of some autonomy to decide where you want to move Veronica in this. What's the next play in your chess game here?
I'll just say that my goal in this interaction is to set Michelle up to take some kind of action against my mother, perhaps exposing her as being, this hideous witch who keeps secrets from people, that like something along those lines. That's really the goal for me.
I think, if I may, I think what would work, because I'm working against your mother regardless. So maybe on your side, what would be interesting, it would be if you had something specific you'd like Michel to do. Then he would do it, and would be in addition to his schemes or within his schemes, but it's not doing something to your mother, because in general that's what he's doing. And on my side, what I'm trying to get out of the scene is to mislead you. But I'm letting you do your things, and then I will try to maybe counter attack or work along to have something else happen.
A good gambit here, Veronica, might be spotting something out of place, trying to read him in this interaction, trying to learn something. Does that seem like maybe a good next step for you?
We can go that direction. Of course, I took the condition that gives me a -2. But we can give it a go. And let's start with that, and then I'll see if I can develop something specific that I'm asking of him from there.
So you have a -2, but you are the center of attention. So that goes to a -1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's. Have you been intimate recently with?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. And are you free of other distractions? You've certainly chosen a place that's isolated.
That's fair, yeah. So, yes.
Straight roll.
Cancels out to a straight roll. 6, 1 short.
That is a 6. So what condition do you want to mark? What about this interaction? What happens here?
I think that obsessed is a fair condition to mark. I think I'm becoming very tunnel visioned on my goals here, and it leaves me open to desperate risks that don't pan out for me.
And I think we also see the camera kind of pulls back, and we see behind one of the hedges, we see Alma. And she's overheard this first exchange, and her eyes widen, and she heads off now. Doesn't listen to the rest of the conversation, but goes, and she's heard you and Michelle. That sound fair?
That works.
Yeah. So Michelle, what are you doing? You see that your words have maybe hit a nerve?
So, okay, so what I'm going to do... So what happened right now?
In the fiction, we see perhaps Veronica maybe pull back a little, and what's the expression on your face, Veronica?
I think that I'm looking up at him with this sort of innocent, naive desperation. If it comes down to it, I'm not above dramatically confessing my love for him, if that's going to get him to do what I need him to do. I'm just trying to come up with something that he could do to really screw Mom over. Maybe
misplace something, sabotage something, reveal a dark secret about her.
A big event coming up tonight.
Yeah, I mean...
Right, some kind of formal thing. I mean, is there perhaps some way that her... there's all kinds of stuff that Mom's doing that's a problem. I just don't know about any of it myself, so it's hard for me to say, oh, go expose Mom's, corruption with the mayor and all of that kind of thing.
Well, let's imagine that you know that this event is going on, and you know it's really important. There are a lot of big name people here, so maybe you want her to be embarrassed at that.
Uh, Perhaps. Yeah, maybe maybe I expressed that mom is overstepping her authority and she needs to be knocked down a peg. Perhaps there is some way that she can be, I wouldn't phrase it as publicly humiliated, but put in her place, made modest, those kinds of words.
Mm, the way we could do that. Uh, Maybe something like the regatta is launched by cutting a ribbon with some scissors, and traditionally the same scissors are always used. It's a specific set of scissors, so maybe I can have those scissors misplaced. I don't know. I'm just
Mhm.
or something specific which is part of the event.
Well, I
But
think we got the scope of it. Like we've established that Veronica,
Yeah,
you want him to do something that will cause her some embarrassment.
yeah.
okay.
Maybe we don't have to decide what that is or if
Right.
it is even
I mean,
successful
it
at
could
this
be as
time.
simple as that. If you tell me, yeah, I want you to embarrass my mother, Michelle is like, oh, I'm gonna work very. Trust me, I'll do my best to satisfy your wish.
Hmm. All right. That
Yeah,
works then. So
Yeah.
so that's what I'll say.
Okay.
okay.
And which when she asks you this request, how do you reply, Michelle?
Oh my child, you hide your game very well. You are full of rage and uh, I mean, are you sure that's what you want? Because I care dearly about you. I'm happy to comply with your wish, but I really wouldn't want you to regret wishing ill on your mother once it happened.
Oh, Michelle, it you must understand, and I kind of like gently lay my hand on your chest the same way I did with Santino, and I look up into your eyes and I say, she brought this on herself.
I'm afraid you're right. You know, yeah, for instance, recently she shouldn't be abusing her power on member of her staff. Like, I mean, you shouldn't go around flirting with your chief of security, for instance. That's inappropriate. It's about time she finds out that this sort of behavior is not appropriate from a proper manager. So here, I really want to mislead
That yeah.
Veronica into thinking that Ursula, the reason she's reacting to what's going on with Pinto is because she herself is interested in Pinto.
I like that. So your personal question is are you taking charge? Do you feel like that is happening here?
Sorry, your question?
Do you feel like you're taking charge of the situation?
Yeah.
And let's look through the other two questions here. Do you feel, Veronica, like there's pressure for you to, accept this as the truth, or to react?
I mean, there's a lot of hints which might lead her to think that because her mother tried to separate her to discourage her relationship with the chief of staff. Wasn't that what was happening a bit
Yeah.
with
Do,
the
do,
car?
do you feel like that seems right, Veronica?
I think that works.
And here's a more interesting question. Veronica, do you feel like Michelle has been honest with you?
Oh man. Um, I it's just a question of how how too dumb to live this girl is. I don't
Uh,
know. let's say yes. I think that between the two of them, Michel is by far the more practiced in manipulation, and I am less practiced in detecting it, so he has the upper hand.
All right. So, Michelle, you may roll with a +3 on mislead, distract, trick.
Ooh, it's a 7, despite my +3.
Ooh.
7 in total.
So, on a hit, they are fooled for a moment. You can learn a valuable secret or create an opportunity. What would you like?
Create an opportunity. Hmm. Any suggestion? What kind of opportunity I could create here?
Access
do
to
you have
someone?
access to someone? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say that tying in with what Veronica asked me to do, she's gonna give access to my thugs to the private home or quarters of her mother, because she would have access and it would be beyond the boundaries of the hotel staff. So Veronica's gonna give me access to that.
Does that feel right to you, Veronica?
So it's basically the transaction is, oh, you need to help me embarrass or mess with my mother, and his response is, yes, but I need access to your mother's private quarters. That plays along very well with what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
So that works for me. I will agree and say anything you need.
Remember, Michelle is always here for you, my child.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you. And as I steal away, it occurred to me, might I be able to do a flashback to preparations?
Yeah.
Such that perhaps, depending on the outcome of the roll, perhaps I have been secretly tape recording this conversation. So
Absolutely.
if my ace in the hole is I have proof that he was scheming against my mom, I'd have to kind of be careful because I'm in the recording as well. So I'd have to be very careful. It'd be horrible if someone got their hands on the unedited copy. My God, that'd be disastrous for me. But
yeah,
maybe that's something.
So, are you the center of attention?
In this case,
yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah. Sure, it's just me and Michelle.
Did you have plenty of time to get a tape recorder set for this?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. But did you have someone looking out for trouble?
Nope.
Okay, so that's just a +2.
All right. Ooh, 8 + 2 is 10.
A 10. So on a 10, you got away without being spotted, or you can ask the conspirators a follow-up question. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry, I was on the wrong page. That is other moves. So on a 7-9 marking condition, don't have to do that. So what is the pick? What is it, the thing that you want?
I think it's clear that I have fabricated a piece of evidence.
Okay.
That's what we'll do.
So on screen, after the two of you move away from each other, what do we see that tells the audience this?
I think that I will, she just keeps doing the same thing. She'll look up at him with the big Disney eyes, and then she turns, and as she walks away toward the camera, her face transforms into this evil smile, and she's very pleased with herself, and she reaches into the plunging neckline and withdraws this tape recorder, hits the stop button, and smiles to herself as she quietly replaces it.
Yeah, perfect. And you hear the voice of Michel, his last words. You can always come to Michel, played by your recorder.
Right, I play that, and then I hit stop.
Nice. So Veronica called that scene. So Michelle, you've had this meeting with Veronica. You've been granted access to Ursula's private rooms. What's the next step in your master plan?
I would like to find out. I'm almost tempted to set up a scene without me, but a scene with what's his name, Santino Pinto,
Mhm.
to find out whether or not he found the paper, and maybe Ursula can come in that scene as well. That could be eventually interesting. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah. So let's think how we want to. The question that you have is, did he succeed at getting those papers? Right.
Yeah, because he went to get the papers. The papers are already removed from the safe. They are now on the desk. The papers apparently is regarding who's the father of Veronica. And I had a suggestion in the chat room. I don't know if people find it interesting or not, regarding who might be the father of Santino Pinto. So I don't know if people find it a good idea or not, if we find out later.
I am completely open to this twist being revealed that I've been
It's classic. It's
seducing
classic.
my brother.
It's Chinatown, baby.
Yeah.
So the name of the mayor is Santino Pinto Senior, and Santino Pinto, chief of security, is actually his son. So will he find the papers from?
I think
Ursula?
let's do that then. Let's frame that. As a GM, we'll frame this to add to the fiction here. Is I think we see after the Alma Ursula interactions, we see Pinto makes his way in. He has the pass to get into places. He's turned the security cameras off in this area. He moves in carefully. He goes over to the safe. And did you put the papers back, or are they still on the desk, Ursula?
Definitely still on the desk.
And I think he goes over, and then he kind of looks down, and we see him look, and he sees the birth certificate, and his eyes go wide, and panicked, and he kind of takes a step back. Ursula, you're returning back to your office.
Ooh. Okay. What are you doing?
I was checking security in here, kind of, not so slyly as pushing the papers together to try to hide what he saw.
So I am going to gesture for Santino to sit down. It's like, it's good that you're here. Been meaning to talk to you.
He's still pale. He sits.
Sit. Yeah. What is going on between you and my daughter?
Oh God, nothing. Nothing.
That's not what I've been hearing. I have had a lot to deal with lately. Rest assured that if I find out you have been fooling around with Veronica,
No.
encouraging her bad habits, you can kiss your career in this town, this resort, goodbye. You'll have to go so far, all the way up to the north, before you will be safe.
This feels like a demand.
Sounds like it to me too. And I was also thinking, I was, to be honest, I was like racking my, while that scene was going on, I was trying to think, what the heck is Ursula going to do? So I was sort of leaning into the scheme, the keep them apart one.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be one of them. And then, yeah, it does seem like a demand. Let's see. Basic moves. Demand what you deserve. Okay. Are you offering something of value in return? Definitely not. Do they love you in this moment? Definitely not. Okay.
But you are keeping your hands clean. You are acting at a distance on this.
That is true. I don't have any. So +1 is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I got an 8, a 9. 8 + 1.
I will do as you say. I will not interact with her. But
Good.
but there's something you should know.
Well,
I was sent here by Michel.
Michel.
He asked me to take some papers, which I didn't see, from your safe.
Safe, and she's going to scramble on. Why would Michelle betray me? And she's going to be scrambling all over the place and looking for the papers, and not see them.
I should go now.
And she's just scrambling and searching, and she's just, you see the manic look in her eyes as she flips through and just can't find those papers anywhere. And then she watches as Senor Pinto kind of exits the room and closes, and her eyes kind of narrow.
I like that. We see him go out. We see him stop. He leans against the wall, lets out a breath. We see him look on the inside jacket pocket, and he's got those papers. And it's worse than he ever thought. And he is now caught in between, trying to decide. But we will see him head off.
Got the zoom on his face.
Let's take another 5, and then let's come back and maybe we'll kind of do the evening scene. We'll check in if there's any preparations people want to do, but let's move to that. How does that sound? Okay, take 5. I ran this at Gen Con several times last year, and 5 players, and it gets chaotic. That I will say that. So let's imagine they would probably get one of those shots of now evening at the hotel. There's the big event. They probably got a great sort of ball area set down by the marina for the opening of this event. Have the scissors gone missing? Is that Michelle?
Actually, I've come up with a better idea.
Okay. We can flash back to preparations on that. Does that seem right?
I have a little setup to suggest, and we can flash back from the setup.
So tell me, Ursula. We've got this big event. We've got all these people here. What are you worried is going to happen here? I mean, we've got all these people in the mix. We know we've got Ephraim, who wants this to go wrong, who knows something about the birth. We know we've got the mayor here, who may or may not be aware of the child. We've got Santino Pinto shaken and moving around to the crowd, and Alma, who wants to tell you, get a chance to tell you about your daughter and Michelle's machinations. So what are you worried about right now, Ursula? What's most on your mind?
That's a lot.
On top of everything you don't know, what are you worried about?
Well, okay, as far as she's concerned, the Michelle situation is well, okay, so it was just revealed to her that Michelle could be potentially betraying her, so that's on her mind. She's definitely worried about the missing birth certificates, but she has her suspicions as to who took them. Oh man, the daughter Veronica would be at the top of the list, I think, and then all the other stuff is sort of simmering in the background, but it's all pretty bad.
So we definitely see you talking with people, but your eyes going elsewhere to try and see where Veronica is on this. Veronica, there's this big gala going on this evening. You've tried to cross paths with Santo, but he seems to be avoiding you. But what are you doing? Do you want to make a big entrance? Do you want to avoid the scene? What is it?
I think that it's to my advantage to stay in the spotlight as much as possible. But I feel like I need to corner Santino, or at least figure out what's going on with him. He's kind of the one guy I really trust, honestly. So,
so catch him just outside of the event.
My thinking is that, perhaps the hotel has these great big entrance doors that open up into this massive kind of ballroom area with the bar on one side, and it's this very lovely kind of setup they've got. It reminds me of the Palmer House in Chicago or something like that, big kind of opening area. And my thinking is that perhaps he, as security, is hanging around the entranceway a bit. So it's easy for me to kind of catch him, pull him off to the side. But if I needed to make a big scene in front of lots of people, there are people around who I could exploit for as an audience. And so maybe I'll try to catch him there.
Miss Isabella?
Santino, what are you doing? What's been going on? You've been avoiding me all day.
No, I've been very busy with the preparations. There's nothing, no problem.
Santino, we've known each other for so long. You know that that's not true. What's wrong? Why can't you just tell me what's in your heart right now?
Are you demanding?
Yeah, well,
Or are
I
you
mean,
accusing him of lying to you?
this is very tricky. I almost wanted to.
Express your love?
I almost wanted to go with the express a love passionately because on a
yeah.
hit there he reveals a secret he probably
Yeah,
shouldn't.
I think that makes sense. I mean, you've got the moves to do that. So let's look at that. Are you dressed to impress?
I obviously yes.
Okay, but I'm going to need you to describe how you're dressed.
Oh, my thinking is that it's the trademark jade dress with the thigh high slit and the studded heels and the plunging neckline. I think because this is such a beautiful gala though, and it's this big formal event, two things are different. One is I have an especially elaborate hairdo. It has been gently curled and it's very professionally conditioned, and I've had hours spent on this afternoon. Very beautiful. I have these dangly diamond earrings, and the real center is that I have this gigantic, almost gaudy necklace that reaches down into the neckline and comes all the way up. And that's kind of the centerpiece of the March Simpson. Yeah, it's like that. It's a giant necklace, I think, that is the real accent piece.
The light catches on it. We get a little bit of soft focus. It's sort of glinting there, the little lens flare.
Yeah,
Right.
the soap opera thing, it's, you got flares.
Right.
They do believe you're single, and you are the center of attention. So I think this is a +3 you're rolling with.
Okay, let's give it a go here. Ooh, 4 + 3 is 7.
7. I think he's definitely not going to give himself to you. But I think there is, with shaky hand, he reaches in to his inner pocket and he hands you this folded paper and he says, you need to look at this.
What's this? I say, taking it and unfolding it. Does he respond as I begin to
just
open
looks
it?
down at it so he bites his lip.
I open it, and can you confirm, is this the...
It is a birth certificate with your name on it, with your mother's name on it, but the listed father is not your father, but is in fact Mayor Pinto.
And would I know at this moment that he is my brother, or is that still...
Oh yeah, because he's the mayor's son.
So that's public knowledge. So
yeah.
I realize at this moment, oh no, okay. Well, I think this is where the raging condition is going to come out. I will completely lose my composure publicly. Being in the spotlight has backfired. With trembling hands, I will look up at him and say, Santino, is this true? Where did you find this, Santino? Where did you find this? And I'm like grabbing him and pounding his chest.
Your mother's office. Your mother's office. Michelle sent me to steal it. Duh.
I will take a step back and look down at it and back up at him and look down at it. And I will just, boiling over, I will just say, Santino, how could you? And I'll crumple it and slap him across the face in front of everybody and throw it down on my feet and just run off in front of God and everybody, crying into my hands. And it's a bad luck.
I think we need you to strike out at someone there.
Yeah. I haven't caught him off guard.
No, he knew it was going to be bad.
Was he really the one who wronged me? I'm leaning towards I would interpret it that way, but
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I think
know.
you definitely read. I mean, he's just. I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't know. That either
Okay.
way, it's terrible.
Okay. Well, that and center of attention is a +2. Let's see what.
And a +1 from raging.
And that, yeah, thank you. So that's a +3. 8 plus 3 is 11.
So you strike. We hear that whack. It carries across the room. There's like a pause in the music, so we hear that come cracking across. And do you want to take something from them, or avoid marking a condition?
It sounds like he has been manipulated by other people, and now he is seeing the consequences of that action and just what it's done to me, his own flesh and blood. Is it possible that I can take back his loyalty? It sounds like he's been manipulated by other people, and maybe he can be guilted so hard by this he comes to
Yeah.
his senses, and he won't work for other people now. Maybe.
Yeah, he knows you're his sister, and he feels like he has a loyal tie of blood, and he's wronged you, and just the guilt as he slumps to the floor, and people are like coming over to him, like trying to help him. And he's like, no, I deserve that. As you rush off through the ball, does that seem good?
I think so. Do I have to mark a condition then? If
Yes,
that's
you
what
do.
I see. I'm 3 out of 4 now.
Excellent.
I'll go and I'll take zealous. I
Okay.
think. Righteous indignation.
Excellent. So, Michelle, let's come to you.
So Michel rings his glass of sparkling wine, because when it's not from the Champagne region, it's not champagne. Stupid Catalan sparkling wine. I love Catalonia. So, ding, 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 ding. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear honored guest, it is time for our host, the absolutely fantastic Madame Ursula Isabella, to give her traditional speech to us tonight. And what I was having in mind is, I'll let Ursula explain what condition she gives her speech, but I'd like you to have an envelope with your speech. And when you open the envelope with your somewhat lengthy speech, which you well prepared and written on it, when you open it, you realize that it's been sprayed with clearly, what's her name? Veronica's mascara, and it's impossible to read. So it was in your private quarter. Only Veronica could have accessed that, clearly. And she sprayed mascara out of rage, you assume, but you cannot read your speech. So what are you going to do with that? And I don't know if I need a move on my side, I don't know if it qualifies, but it feels like I'm striking out at you. It's not exactly on raising my voice against you, but it's me striking at Ursula.
I like that. It puts you a little bit at risk here, so that seems fair. I think you've caught them off guard, but I don't think they just wronged you. You've got the general sense of awfulness, but I don't think that you're reacting to an immediate thing.
I'm in control of the situation.
I feel like Michelle believes that everybody has wronged him, or he's wronging everybody.
Let's have you roll a +2, Michelle.
Okay, let's go. Oh, that's a 9, including my +2.
Okay, then both of you need to mark a condition.
How would you describe righteous? Do you think it applies?
Yeah, you could do it. I mean, you're taking what you deserve here.
Yeah.
I feel like you could also interpret it as like lustful for drama, not like in a sexual way, but just like chaos. Like I lust for the destruction of these people.
I think demand righteous seems like it's an entitled prick.
Yes. Ursula, you look down and there's no way to read the speech that you wrote.
She's going to pause and look up and smile and try to carry on and begin her speech. My dear guests, we are, and you can just see her slowly grasping and kind of gripping the paper and kind of tearing into it in her hands, her veins. Do I see Veronica?
Yeah, if you do see Veronica in the crowd as you start, she has a dangerous expression on her face.
I think what Ursula would do would be to give the speech, but with vagaries and references to Veronica and how everything she's done has been for the sake of her family and the well-being of her children, only to have it spit back in her face repeatedly over and over again and kind of just gradually lose her cool and not quite reveal what's going on, but definitely Veronica knows what she's talking about, and anybody in the know kind of knows what she's talking about.
Then let's have you roll strike out at someone.
Okay.
Veronica, do you think that this speech is going to catch you off guard?
I cannot imagine being more vulnerable than at this moment. So, yes.
And certainly you feel that they've just wronged you. So that's another a +1. I don't think you're keeping your hands clean, though, right?
No. I think at this point the jig is up.
Yeah.
There's literal mask around your
Literal,
hands
yes,
right
literal
now.
I've not been very good at that. I'm not that kind of Ladonna.
So you're going to be rolling then with a flat 0 because of your condition.
Okay. I got a 3.
Got a 3.
Yeah.
So
The dice have spoken.
the immediate effect is that you're going to mark your last condition, and we're going to resolve your meltdown here.
Oh, yes.
We're going to have that come. I think the secondary condition that we're going to see, the other outcome of this move, is I think we get a shot, just a brief shot on the balcony where we see a frame out there, and we see this other shadowy figure standing next to him, and maybe he steps in the light for just a second, and we see your late husband. And then he goes back, steps out of the light.
That's great.
So tell us about your meltdown. Let's resolve that one. What does it say?
Meltdown. The ungrateful whelps take and take. You cut off the worms leeching off of you. You put them in line and show them how grateful they should be. Maybe you throw them out onto the street and let them work for a change. Maybe you make public changes to your estate and show where your favor lies. Tomorrow you'll find yourself alone, but tonight you'll be surrounded by begging sycophants.
So how do you cut Veronica out, or how do you bring her to heel? Your other daughter Alma is there. Veronica is going across the. What is it that you do? What is it you say? And we can even retcon a little bit, but what do you think?
How ungrateful whelps take and take from the worms.
It can even be Michelle. I mean, this is anybody you want to cast out.
I think I would just go into full tirade mode and just do like point by point, like Veronica, like, and then Michelle, and then like everybody. I would just point out their flaws and their like Veronica, definitely call her some sort of floozy and just some sort of attention-seeking person who has fallen extremely far from the tree. Michelle, well, not Michelle. Let's do Michelle last, but Santino, rather, as the son of a bastard, and then his father, the father of a bastard, and then Michelle, my beautiful broken, what is it, bird? Broken little bird, my beautiful broken little bird. Like you, least of all. I never expected you to betray me. And as like tears are streaming down her face, maybe Irma, or Alma, I'm sorry, comes up to console me, and she grabs me, and I look at her, and I'm just sort of like, thank you. But like the mic is still on, like, thank you, my only loyal daughter. She's taking me up the stage.
Everyone hears that. You'll hear the goes across the crowd when that happens, when that goes there. The good news is you get to clear all your conditions.
Yes.
Because that's cathartic. Getting that out there is Michelle, you know that your days here are numbered. Veronica, you hear this cut out. Let's come to Veronica. What do you do?
Holy shit. Oh no.
That's what you wanted.
Thanks a
Passion,
million,
get up,
Michelle.
yes.
We got a crack team working on this plan. Oh no. I mean, at this point, she's completely driven by emotions. I think that she has, right when she hit rock bottom, it becomes, now my mom's calling me out. And then when she thinks that's rock bottom, it's, oh, Alma's her only loyal daughter. How many children does this mom have? I think that I will just completely devalue myself and just go on a screaming tirade at my mom and say, you've abandoned me, you lying, insert swear words in Spanish. And I just call her all of these names and tell her that this is her fault and you never told me anything, and how dare you to act as if everything here is my fault. You've always been the one in charge ever since my father died. Well, except, and I'll just like start laying out, you never told me that my father's actually the mayor. And I'll just like scream that out in front of everybody and lay all of my, I'll just air my grievances, lay all those out.
Strike out at someone.
Center of attention, off guard, they've wronged me. I guess this is well, and also raging, I think, is a +1. So is this a +4?
I think she may be. No, yeah, the +4, because +4 is the max on this.
Okay. I mean, just to clarify, does this catch Ursula off guard?
That's a good question. Or is it Ursula expecting a response, or do you think you put her in her place far enough that she wouldn't even be able to talk back to this?
Well, I'll throw it back to you, Veronica. What do you say to her that still surprises and still hurts Ursula, despite all that's happened?
I know that the mayor is my father.
Okay.
Ursula wouldn't know that I know.
Yeah.
So I guess it does.
All right. So with a +4, 9 + 4 is 13.
All right.
Ooh.
So you get to choose. On a 10+, you can take something from them or avoid marking a condition. But Ursula, who's just cleared the conditions, has to mark another one. So what would you like, Veronica?
See, if I do mark a condition, then I also have to melt down here.
Yep.
So I can either take something from Ursula and just go down in flames with her, or I can avoid marking a condition and let that be it. I feel like this would be an appropriate time to also have a meltdown. The only thing I'm curious about is my meltdown basically requires me to throw myself at the object of my greatest affection, which up until about 2 minutes ago would have been Santino, but maybe Michelle?
Maybe.
Because he's always been at odds with my mother, and if I'm having a meltdown against my mother, it would make sense that just to get back at her, I go towards Michelle, which I'm sure goes right into his spidery web.
Oh, yeah. You've both been cut off by her.
Remember, Michelle is always there for you, my
Yes.
sweet child.
So you want to take that meltdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to decide what I'm taking from Ursula instead of avoiding marking a condition. Oh my gosh, I don't know her credibility, her dignity.
It can be her like veneer, because she up to this point has been, such a put together, well, not in this episode, but
Yeah.
ostensibly in past episodes, person.
Right.
Like it's the final crack in her appearance here is you not backing down, but immediately responding.
She just goes into. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, Ursula, what are you gonna mark and tell us how we see you react before we have the meltdown begin?
I marked introspective, and I'll let Veronica go through the meltdown, but I think I have a reaction.
Veronica, what do we see on screen? What is cathartic for you here?
I think that Veronica at this point wants nothing more than to give the ultimate, F you to mom. And so this is treading into like me needing permission from players in this, for the purposes of lines and veils and so forth territory. But would it be permissible for me just in a show of dramatic provocativeness to just stroll over to Michelle and dramatically take him around the neck and just kiss him passionately in front of everybody, just to show mom what I really think of her?
Does that work for you, Michelle?
Let's go. I'm French, so
so that
we don't stand in the way of love, of course, l'amour, la passion.
So you move over, the crowd parts as you do that. Do you say anything?
Goodness, I think that what my mom wants more than anything is, and this may be inaccurate, I don't know, but I think that what my mom wants more than anything is power and fortune and to be in control. And I'll say something to the effect of, you think that you are the one who deserves this extravagant resort. You're the one who deserves all of this opulence. I'll show you who really deserves this. I'll show you the one who's really taking care of this operation. And then I'll just walk over and kiss him and say, this is the man who really runs this. Something to that effect.
Excellent. And there's more gasping from the crowd, and there's that pause, as Alma's kind of taken Ursula off, when Ursula is sort of forced to stop and listen to this, and just doing that, like, throwing that blow at your mother will clear your conditions, Veronica, and just for a moment you feel a little bit better before you realize exactly where you are.
Yeah. So,
but there is one person. Yes, let's hear Ursula's reaction, and then.
Okay. So Ursula is going to observe all this with sort of signs, a resigned sort of sigh. She's going to shake Alma's arm off of her and take out another one of her long cigarettes and lights them and say, well, we're all bastards sometimes, darling.
Michelle, that line hangs in the air. You've had this kiss with Veronica, but you also know that she's going to fire you.
Yeah, I walk towards, Michelle works towards, still holding the hand of Veronica. He walks towards Efrain Sanchez, which of course is sitting just next to the mayor. And in a way so that he's overheard by most of the audience, he say, Mr. Mayor, as you know me, I put nothing above loyalty, but today I just cannot stand for Mrs. Isabella and Madame Isabella anymore. I've been noticing some really poor management going on, but it was just brought to my knowledge by your son himself, who brought me these papers from her office, and I wave photocopies of the oceanographic office thing that Madame Ursula Isabella looked down on the safety of all our eminent guests to have this regatta going on while it was extremely dangerous to go sail at the moment, and the previous manager himself has disappeared in circumstances related to that. I just can't stand for this anymore. The safety of our guests goes above all, and I'm taking control of this hotel. If you allow me, Mr. Mayor, and if the shareholders and mortgage owners of these establishments allow me to, in order to make sure that nobody's going to be harmed this weekend. But I'm afraid eminent guest, and it pains me to say that following what just happened with Madame Isabella, the regatta needs to be called off.
I think you're revealing a shocking truth about Ursula. So you may mark a condition and then roll with the number of conditions that you have marked.
I'm lustful now, I think, for very clear reasons.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll.
So, so why do I roll? What I'm
so you have 2 conditions marked,
yes.
And so you're going to be rolling with a +2 on the reveal a shocking truth.
Okay. 12.
So I assume you have unequivocal evidence.
Yes, I've got the photocopies of the letter of the Oceanographic Institute.
And the shocking truth gives you rightful claim.
Mm-hmm.
What's the look on your face, Ursula, when this happens and you see that and you know the mayor and Ephraim are nodding, clearly in agreement, like, yes, we will give control of the hotel to him. What's your reaction? What do we see on your face, Ursula?
With Isabella at my side.
Yes.
Ursula is resigned at this point. I think she feels kind of defeated. So maybe she'll mention that the resort has sort of allude to the fact that it's been nothing but a curse, and just like, fine, take it, and just, it's all yours, for see what fortunes it'll bring you. Has brought me nothing but suffering.
And Veronica, what's your reaction to this revelation and this change of the status here?
I will cling to Michelle like arm candy, and will probably plan on continuing to do so until he inevitably discards me, like that rose in the opening sequence.
There's no rush.
Ooh, actually, sorry, can we retcon? I was thinking maybe I could do a move here. I do have a protection move for my schemes, my second schemes.
Yeah.
And perhaps I can bring Alma back into it, and by say, you can do whatever you like. I am not technically the owner of the resort.
And do you push Alma forward? Is that what you do at that point?
Absolutely. You're a true owner, Alma Isabella.
And I think there'll be that dramatic musical thing, and we get a close-in shot on Ursula, on Veronica, on Michelle's reaction. We get a close-in on Alma, and, the mayor. Everyone's, and then we get a shot of your supposedly dead father out on the balcony nodding, and I think then we kind of close that. They kind of go to the credits, but then we go to the next time on.
Oh.
So each of you is going to get a chance to narrate in the end of this episode, what do we see as the next time on? And you can set up whatever fiction you want. You don't have to explain anything about how we got there. Let's start with Michelle. What do we see as the next time on La Rosa Corrida?
Next time it's Veronica opening the bedroom and find him in one of those king size luxurious bed. Michelle in bed with his two thugs, Rafaela and Ignacio.
Throws that open, and we see that, and there's that shocking revelation of that already he's cheating on you. And then Ursula, what is the next time on we see with your character?
An oak conference room with Alma there and Ursula with an army of lawyers training her on the deposition.
She's going over. She's looking. She's still very. This is uncertain. She doesn't know what to do. She's trying to obey her mother, trying to be the good daughter. We can see that she's a little frazzled in that moment. And Veronica, what is the next time on we see for you?
She is standing on the balcony. The moon is behind her, and she says to herself, "It's time I took this into my own hands," as she quietly conceals a small revolver in her dress.
Perfect. And that's our show. That is it. Thank you all very much. We got to a nice high point. We're a little early, but I like to end when you get to that sort of dramatic climax there. So I hope that we'll do a little debrief off camera here in just a second. I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to check in with everybody. Let me do that.